Morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour on this Monday. June is upon us. It is the 5th of June. I think this weekend, yesterday was like the first time that we were over like 100 degrees. I think it was only like 102 maybe yesterday. Very late in the year. Been a pretty mild summer. No, knock on wood. Pretty mild so far. I'm sure 110 degree heat is just around the corner, but I hope you're enjoying the weather. I know up in Colorado, Jason says it won't stop raining, which, you know what? I'll take that as a good thing. Hopefully it rains in the right places because Arizona can use all the water it can get its hands on. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. AllAmericanGold.com is the website. Last Monday, we are off for Memorial Weekend, so we didn't have Joey last Monday, but as always, most of the time on Mondays, we have my son Joey with us. He joins us for a little while. Of course, he's at Northwestern Mutual, and it's so funny because one of the things, especially with what's happened with banks and bank deposits, now is the Fed not done, right? All of a sudden, the inflation data not going the right way, not enough people getting fired, too much pressure still on manufacturers when it comes to pricing. And now the Fed may be stuck raising rates even higher, which of course puts more pressure on the bank. And one of the great things about North, they're not a bank. Number two, they're not publicly traded. They can give two craps about Wall Street. And then number three, no financial company has more cash in the bank, and no financial company is better rated than Northwestern Mutual. Joey, it's like you guys are in the sweet spot right now.
A great and tremendous spot. Just a phenomenal company, super conservative in values. And, I talk to KHNC listeners and I come on the show. What a better company for people like us to partner up with, right? The reason why I chose them, the reason why I will be with them forever until I croak away. But I think the big thing, too, that we add, not only partnering with Northwestern Mutual, is the service that my team and I will provide to you. Right? I'm a young guy. I've got a ton of energy. I'm constantly working, and I put a ton of pride and hard work into all of this. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for clients putting trust in my team and I. And by doing so, we've built a tremendous practice, but we're just putting people in a better spot than they were yesterday. Whether they become a client or not, I know for a fact that everyone leaves our conversations having learned a ton more and feeling a lot more comfortable at where they're at in their own financial planning. Like for me, for example, hey, maybe you'd have a 50-year-old, 60-year-old advisor who's got a ton of experience. He probably doesn't have the time to reach out to you at least twice a year or once a quarter to make sure we're updating things and keeping track of what's going on in your life. And now we're updating and making changes when necessary. For me, I emphasize if someone's a client, how do you want my outreach to be to you? How do you want this relationship to go? And whatever they tell me, that is what we will do, and that is how our outreach will go. And whether we talk about taxes, talk about investments, talk about estate and legal planning. Hey, maybe you're looking to buy a house. I need a realtor. I need a mortgage lender. Everything financial, we're helping our clients out with, whether we get paid on it or not. I'll tell you what, I probably put in 20 hours of work for everyone before I see a penny. And there's a reason I do that, and I do that to show and prove to people that I'm going to stay here forever, and that we're going to compete for your business, and we're going to do a better job than whoever you worked with previously or you continue to work with. And I've loved what we've seen this year. We're on track for our goal as a financial planning practice, which has allowed us to give back to communities. Recently joined a nonprofit board where we're helping out with kids with illiteracy. The next goal on my agenda is to give back to families that are single-parent households and make an impact there. And that's, quite frankly and quite honestly, that's due to all the clients you're putting in the trust with us, which allows us to give back to our communities and really just make sure we're making the world a better place one step at a time.
You know, you've been highlighting how different it is, and people don't believe it. People don't. They think, well, this is, you know what, I got a financial planner 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, maybe I got one just a few years ago, and they think it's normal. Hey, well, every once in a while I get an email from them, and I just delete it, right? I don't even open it up. I just hit the delete button and really haven't really had any type of relationship. I know that you and your team, you carve out days every single month where, hey, you know what, all this we're doing today is calling our existing clients. We're going over things. I've got information and especially for some, it's just to reach out and, hey, how's everything going? Everything's still on track. For others, you're reaching out for a reason because, hey, something's changed, and we need to maybe take a look at this and do something different.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what we're doing. We carve out time on my calendar. I have days of the week, days of the month where we're reaching back out and checking in. And we'll dive back into that after this little break here.
We'll be back with more with Joey. Stay with us. Patriot Radio News Hour on a Monday. Eight 800-951-0592. Jason and Joe here today on this Monday. We got Joey with us from Northwestern Mutual, and so many people, and I think by design, they've been trained to be like, well, investing's just too complicated for you. Just get a 401k plan if your work offers it. Hire a financial advisor, and just live with the results. And that's really a huge misnomer when it comes to having success as you get ready to retire. You've got to be involved. And Joey, I think one of the things that you're teaching people is, number one, it's not as complicated as they make it out to be. And number two, and more importantly, your opinion actually matters. When you talk to me, you ask, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to get out of this? How do you want us to approach it? And for a lot of people that have these financial advisors, they're not even asked what they want, and it tends to lead to these people being in portfolios that are way too aggressive, not tax efficient, doesn't even consider the family dynamic, because for a lot of people, hey, I'm on my second marriage or my third marriage. I got kids, I got stepkids, I got grandkids, I got step-grandkids, I've got a spouse that's passed away, or I've got children that have passed away that have, exes. And it's a complicated process, tax planning, right? So I just made it sound really difficult, but you guys really clear that up for everybody and make it a simple process. And, of course, the biggest thing is you're always communicating.
Yeah, right. We're constantly communicating, and we're taking the time to figure out what is most important with all of our clients. And I'll tell you right now, I have so many cases where people have maybe the same income and probably the same amount of assets. The planning and recommendations are always a little bit different because it's based upon your goals and what you're trying to achieve with these dollars. And you talk to other advisors, I think the biggest critique is they're just looking for more assets under management. They're always going to say, let's invest more. Whereas us, say, we're looking to diversify, and we're trying to be a lot more tax efficient than your advisor would be, because quite frankly, if you're investing in other assets that have these tax efficiencies, he doesn't get as much compensation and this and that. And we're just taking a closer, more personable look, and by doing so, that's the reason why our firm is averaging 27.5-year relationships with clients. The industry is averaging 2.5. People can be very transactional, but when you do things the right way, you reach out, you have transparency, you have the proper communication and education, everyone's life is tremendously better, and we're both more well off than we were the day before. And I think if you really want to work with people who genuinely care about everyone they sit down with, then we're the right fit for you. If you're someone who just wants to get sold and then that's it and never talk again, we're probably not the right fit, because I don't feel comfortable doing that, because 2 years from now, 5 years from now, that might not be the thing you should be utilizing, right? So really emphasizing that this is a relationship, and it's not going to be, well, Joey's calling, we're talking about finances. I want to get to know people and know what's going on with your life. The guarantees I make, I only make one guarantee to everyone I speak with. I don't guarantee we're going to outperform the market every year. I don't guarantee we're going to make this money appear out of thin air. The only guarantee that I will give you or anyone I talk to is that no one's going to work harder to make sure you're in the right position financially, and that you're getting the best service possible in terms of communication, education, and transparency. I think that's the biggest difference, and why, honestly, we're just better than these other advisors, because we're generally taking the time and caring about everyone we speak to.
Joey, I got a question. Everyone that's been listening the last bunch of months, you come on Mondays, and of course you're the Northwestern Mutual guy, and you're Joe Jaquint's son. But we don't talk too much about, you're out of college, and you're living on your own. And what do you do in your spare time? What else interests you besides your job and your dad? What else is going on in Joey's life?
Fantastic question. About me is I've recently gone back into nonprofit boards. We're doing the Children's Illiteracy program that I've joined. But what I do in my spare time is it's just like the normal everyday person. I love to go out, play sports, play some golf, right? But overall, just being involved in my community, whether it's going to different events, different charity events. I always love to be a part of where I'm at. So I'm in Chicago, and I'm getting heavily involved within the community. But just like everyone else, just like you, I like to hang out with friends. I'll play some sports. I do a lot of reading now. I graduated college, a year ago? But, I'm just like a normal everyday person. I just spend a lot of time and really care about the practice. But I'm an outgoing guy who just loves to talk to people and help people out, because I know at the end of the day, if we're all helping each other out, we're going to be a lot better off, especially what's going on with the economy, our country. I think it's important that we take a step back from all the bull crap, and we just come together and we forget about the bad things that are going on and be positive about the future and what the future holds. Because I think if we're going to be pessimistic, why are we living? Why are we going through life every day? I really was. I'm a person who's very optimistic and really happy and outgoing, and always looking at the good side of things rather than the bad, because there's a ton of bad out there. I think it's important that you look at what you've got and you're grateful for the things and the people that you have in your life.
Well, there you go, Joe. It doesn't sound like it's very news-catching for the mainstream media, the stuff they've been spouting the last couple of years. But it sounds like somebody that I would like to use if, you got to get into some life insurance or some investments, Joe?
Yeah, and again, listen, Joey is somebody who's very, very passionate about what he does. We have, both of us have that competitive drive. Some people do, some people don't. Some people are competitive in what I'll call a nasty way, right? Win at all costs, right? I don't care. Whatever I've got to do to. It's not the way we raised him and how we go about things. I think the biggest thing is, and all of you know, right? Especially when I was younger. When I was Joey's age, I was coaching high school basketball already at that age. Giving back to the community has always been something that we've been big on. Obviously, at KHNC, we do it all the time. And that's something that Joey's learned. And things that make us happy is going out there and helping other people really have success and find their happiness. And those are the people you want to be around. Those are the people that you want in your life. People that are out there that, hey, this guy cares about me. You know what? I'm not a number. I'm not just a guy with, hey, I got a big checkbook. They actually care about me. They're trying to look out for me. I've been doing this radio program for over 20 years, and that's really what this whole program's about. It's we talk about bad stuff, but it's about, hey, I want to help you so this bad stuff doesn't affect you in a negative way. And, Joey, that's exactly what you're doing.
It's exactly what we're doing. And, I'm a very lucky person. I grew up, you guys know my dad. He raised me, my mom. She's fantastic. I got my little brother. But I grew up on these values. And it's something that's just ingrained into my brain of helping other people out and putting others first. And at the end of the day, if you do that enough, to constantly give back to the community and where you're from, I'll personally reap the rewards myself, which is a byproduct of all the good things we've done for people. And my dad mentioned coaching. I have applied to start coaching 6th and 7th graders in my free time on top of what I'm doing, but I couldn't live a life where I was selfish and didn't do things for others. I think that's just a bad way to go about life. And at the end of the day, probably doesn't create a ton of happiness or joy in what you're doing day to day. But yeah, I think a lot of passion and pride in family. And I look at this financial planning practice as a second family. Probably going to end up knowing and talking to all my clients for 40 years, 50 years. It's going to be a long, long relationship, and I'm super excited just to see every year how all of this changes and how we grow together and making sure that we're someone that you can rely on and put your trust in to make sure that we're putting you in the right spot whenever things need to be changed.
Joey, give out your number. I know you got to go. I know you got a meeting to get to. Tell everybody if that's the type of relationship you want with a financial planner, tell everybody how they get a hold of you.
Yeah, reach out to me at my personal cell phone. That is 602-909-9048. Again, that's 602-909-9048. Reach out to me if you want to see what we're all about and go through our process and join our family in a way. Right? We would take a lot of pride in this, and I think you'll, at the very least, really enjoy the conversation. Please feel free to compare me to your other advisors. And let us know if there's feedback, if we're not doing things correctly, or your advisor does this or that. Let us know. We're always accepting feedback. Our team is growing. We're constantly changing our processes to make sure, like in our one guarantee I mentioned earlier, that you're getting that best service possible. We'd love to talk to each and every one of you. Take a lot of pride in working with KHNC listeners, and really just hoping that we can put us all in a better spot sooner rather than later. Always a blessing to come on every Monday. I really enjoy it. Hope everyone has a great week. Jason, great talking to you. Dad, I'll talk to you later.
All right, there you have it. That's my son Joey, 602-909-9048. We got movement here in the markets today, over the weekend. Saudi Arabia letting people know oil prices, they're not going to go down. If you're going to bring it down, we're going to stop producing another big production cut from Saudi Arabia. Then we had some economic data out, this time the ISM service sector. This is probably more important than the manufacturing sector, because we know here in America, listen, we gave away our manufacturing base a long, long time ago. We are a service-based economy. They were expecting the economy to tick up. It went the other way, actually missed by quite a few points. Here was the big thing, and I think this is true. I really do. When looking at this data, they were saying, listen, things slowed down. And now we're at a point where things aren't getting better, but they're not getting worse. And, Jason, I think that's where a lot of things are right now. Everyone's kind of waiting. Okay, is it going to get better? Or is it going to get worse? And we've probably spent the last, 6, 8, 10 weeks what I would call, treading water, where, hey, things slowed down, but they're not getting any better. But at least right now, they're not getting any worse.
Yeah. Towards a situation where we'll start to see some more bank failures. I think we'll see more bank failures in the next 60 to 90 days because, they're going to keep the rates up. Even if they stop raising them, they're going to keep them up. And the government's going to start borrowing, another $1 trillion, Joe? And so there's a lot more lucrative treasuries flooding into the market. It's what are you going to do, right, Joe? And that's going to be bad assets on the books of these regional banks that can't afford to just buy into the higher interest rate stuff. So, it was going to take some time between those first round of failures to now, but now that the government's, going to be wheeling and dealing and spending, right, Joe? Well, I think we're going to start seeing some more regional banks limp and fall apart again.
Well, you brought up the debt ceiling. When we get back, I'm going to tell you why that's actually a negative for the banks and for Wall Street because of the fact, hey, guess what? Someone's got to buy all this stuff. We'll be back.